Hello, welcome again to the Daily Sporran, and today I'm going to do a song called Sad City Sisters, if I can pronounce it, from the Zealot Gene album. That's the album before last, from 2 or 3 years ago, by Jethro Tull. Every song on the album, as some of you may know, is inspired by a passage in the Bible, although the lyrics are actually a different story which has a loose connection to the story in the Bible passage that it comes from. So this song is inspired by a passage in the Old Testament in Ezekiel, which is essentially about two sisters who are, let's say, rather generous with their sexual favours and who end up meeting a pretty unpleasant end at the hand of the Assyrians. Those Assyrians, eh? Whereas the lyrics themselves are actually about a town centre or city centre in Britain on a Saturday night where you see young women hammered, staggering out of pubs with not much dignity, not much self-control. And the song is from the perspective of a slightly censorious older man who sees this as he walks back home through a late night city centre. And that censorious older man is Ian Anderson, and he's happy to admit that he is. He says in the liner notes, that's what he is. It was a particular night in Cardiff in Wales that when he walked back, I think from a gig, that inspired him to produce the lyrics for this song. Anyway, it's a song that, well, I'll say a bit more about it at the end. I hope you enjoy it. My version. Wish me luck. Hard to choose between them. Tramps on a night out of season. Bare legs and arms at the taxi stand. Shoes in hand, cold curb to freeze on. What desperation, what souls possessed, with lonely demons are put to test. Why should we worry? Why should we care? The warrior horseman shame defile them. Why tip the cabbie plus his fare? So send them home to stumble in, toss their knickers in the bin. Repentance looms, then melts away, mocked by dark and earthly silence, replaced by incubus at play. Bad sisters stare, graffiti walls, stare in return when weekend calls. The empty bragging, the empty lives, and anguish echo through empty malls. What desperation, what souls possessed, with lonely demons are put to test. Why should we worry? Why should we care? The warrior horseman shame defile them. The 6-gun notches say it all. It was hard to choose between them. Tramps on a night out of season, out of body and out of mind, out of dark and into reason. Stumble in, toss their knickers in the bin. Demons loom and melt away, enough disrupts the earthly silence. Guilty Ross had his day, hands to sad souls to agape. So I admit to feeling a bit uncomfortable about the use of the word tramps in this song, but then it is a song from the point of view of a slightly judgmental older man. So it's in that voice. There we are. I think one of the things I like about the lyrics of this song are the way that it juxtaposes the rather prosaic, undignified way in which the two women, is it two? I guess it is. Maybe it's more than two, but the sisters, whether it's literal or not literal, we don't know. When the sisters are in a taxi with, waiting for a taxi with bare legs and arms, shoes in hand, tossing knickers in the bin. I mean, these are all very, sort of broad brushstrokes, but very literal and, reflecting the lack of dignity that going out and getting drunk and losing control of yourself brings. But interlaced with that in this song are some really quite epic metaphors and lyrics and references to warrior horsemen and to guilty eros and agape. And moving between those two, I think works quite well in this song. So musically, I realised when I played it, the Up the Pool thing, it just feels a little bit like Up the Pool in the, it's slightly quicker tempo, but the guitar, it has a very similar sort of range and feel to it as Up the Pool. There's a particular line which is, what desperation, what souls possessed, which is very Up the Pool. I always talk about variation within a theme within Anderson songs, and Ian Anderson's ability to just vary something slightly so you think it's repetition, but it isn't really repetition. Here's the example from this song. The opening verse. That's the first run through. Second one, just slightly different. Instead of a C chord, an F chord, it goes to a D minor chord on the third line. Just keeping us on our toes as usual. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed it. See you again soon.